Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today is, well, as you see by the title, 2020 review, and I haven't done one of these in a while. I was going to do it every 2 weeks at the start of my day trading. I realized how few opportunities I get, so it was going to be quite pointless. But yeah, so 2020 is finished. Obviously I've stopped trading this week. I'm not taking any active trades. I'm barely looking at the markets, and I'm just preparing for 2020, right? So we're going to be doing a quick review, you can say, over my little data. I'm probably going to miss stuff out. Obviously, I've done this, you can say, in a bit more depth, or just looked at various things very closely and whatnot. But I'll give you like a brief overview of how it went and yeah, just everything like that. So if you do find some value in it, the transparency as well, yeah, just drop a like on this video. Check out the podcast as well if you want while you're at it. And yeah, so let's get into it. So I will start off with, well, unhiding all the stuff here realistically. So unhide some of the data I don't really track. So, well, this is like, for me, it's like pointless to have on, it just takes up space. Let's see if I've hidden anything. Again, I'm doing this live in front of you, and you might see all of this data I'm tracking. Again, do you have to do that? No, obviously I choose to. For me, it's actually easier. You know, just having little notes and whatnot, especially this orange and blue things here. Obviously, for the long term, once it's filled up with data, it would help even more. But yeah, we're gonna start off. What should we start off with? Well, as you see, net pips. Again, this is across two positions, right? It's 198. So again, this account, remember, it started July. So here's the first trade taken. 198 pips in 33 trades, and I finished the year up on 4%, 4.0 something, I don't know, 0.6 or whatever, it doesn't really matter. So just 4% in 6 months, which, is it good? Well, I mean, it's positive, right? Now, is it something that there's a scream about? Probably not, right? And ideally, obviously, I want more, but for the first 6 months, I'm considering the circumstances, which I'll sort of touch up on, you know, I'll take it. So I'm quite happy with that, you know, something. So yeah, well, I might as well go for the full overview at least. So equity curve, you can see this is the equity curve that, you know, is shown on this spreadsheet. Right now, I'll show you my brokerage one, right? So right there, this is my actual equity curve, and I think they do it on trade by trade basis, which obviously this spreadsheet here does it on a weekly basis. So it is what it is, and it says 10% here. Obviously, you know, it's not true, right? So this is the official numbers. It was a £200 account, right? Finished on 208.12, so yeah, 4.06%. And yeah, we could look at some of these numbers. To be honest, I'm doing this on the fly. Key number here, as you see, basically lost £6. So around, as you see, I've basically lost, what is it, 3% on commissions and swaps. So this is commissions and swaps. These are all the trades I've taken. Obviously, I'm not going to scroll up to for my accounting, etc. But obviously, it's a live account. Let's see how well they've calculated. I haven't really looked at these numbers. I roughly know what they are. In terms of my drawdown, is roughly 5%. Relative drawdown 5.56. Okay, so you know, low drawdown, and you'd be like, low drawdown, but you know, that drawdown is bigger than your return, and it is obviously. But if you think about it, let's say next year, if I keep that drawdown, let's say 6-7% max, right, and that's, you know, at the end of the year I'm like 30% up, whatever, you know, it is good, right? So I'm happy with these minimum drawdowns. As you see, it was mainly here, right? So this is where I went from like £210 or something to basically break even. And then I had another burst, a new equity high, and then I just sort of went into a little bit of consolidation and yeah, pull back on my equity. So we'll see what happens in terms of that. So that's the results. Profit factor 1.22. I'm not too sure how they calculate that, and I feel like there's different things for it. So again, what's this? Short positions 27. Wow. Well, total trades 40. That's not fully the case, or it actually is. No, sorry, it is, because they count. So when I split position size, so let's say here, as you see, I've gone target 1, target 2. Obviously, that counts as 2 trades. But to have that many shorts, which yeah, fair enough, to be honest. I mean, I'm not hugely surprised, but yeah, it's interesting to see. Biggest profit to be. I did get carried by one trade, and this is weird, right? So I'll just go back on this. Obviously, you know that different pairs have different pip values, and the euro pound, I think it might even be this trade here. This was the main trade. Nope. So that was a 16. Is that right? So the euro pound trades, right? That's where the pip value is quite high. And the fact that I won on it, obviously it provided a big boost to my account. Obviously this was a bigger, actually it's not even that big, a bigger loss you could say, because again, euro pound was only 8 pips. So this was a huge turning point in terms of monetary value. So again, you can say I've been carried by that one trade, but you know, I'm quite happy with it because it is what it is, and you know, that's 75 pips. So realistically, what I've done with the other pairs, sorry, my keys, where should I put them? Right, cool. Realistic with my other trades, I've managed to break off commission and you know, add a little bit of profit on that as well. So I think it all balances out in the end. You know, next year I'm going to have euro pound win and lose it as well. Again, it's always going to happen. It's always going to balance out eventually over time. So, you know, that's going to be, yeah, that's just something that, again, I'm aware of, right? So, you know, something like that. But what can we look at first? So first of all, look at trend trading, right? So again, the way I split my trend, so I'll just say if it's in a trend or not. And you'll see actually my trend trading has been basically flat, right? So I just see a lot of losses, and you can't really see the total at the bottom of my screen. Give me a sec. There. Alright, see here, right? So you're looking at 56 pips from around 21 trades. So if you put commissions into that, I'm basically flat on that, and I'm not too surprised. Right, I'm really not too surprised. Now, the reason for that is, if you remember my YouTube videos, and I've said this on multiple times, let me see how many wins I actually had. So I've had 9 wins, 1 break even, even though it says -1, it's 1 break even, and then 21, so that's 11 losses, right? But yeah, I'm not surprised that, because if you remember June time, end of June, just before I went live, I was like, look, we're going to go into consolidation. So realistically, since June, well, all of this time we've traded, we have been in either a very weak trend or consolidating markets, especially you know, October, November was just dead, right? It was absolutely dead. You saw my predictions on YouTube, right? If you're here following them, I was there like, welcome to the daily day trend predictions. I've got nothing on my radar, mainly, you know, trend opportunities, nothing on my radar. So very few opportunities considering, and even if when there is opportunities, right, even those, you know, over a third of my trades, you can say, it's a case of, because overall we're not really in a trending market, they aren't as good as quality, right? You know, they're not like 10 out of 10. They're not A grade setups. Very rarely would they happen like that. So again, that period was coincidentally during my forward testing in April, May, which had very trending markets across most, you know, pairs. So again, here's what it is. But reversal, no, not reversal. Well, so this switch, sorry, I must have switched it back. But yeah, so now this is counter trend trading. So obviously counter trend trading has actually carried me a little bit. Sorry, I'm a bit slow, but again, yeah. If you actually look at the total here, it's 141 pips, right? And you know, obviously it speaks for itself. We're looking at 12 trades, decent, right? Can't remember what I highlighted this yellow. I think, what was it? Yeah, I need to look into this. New Zealand, yeah. But yeah, I'll look into that in my spare time. But basically, yeah, so current trend moves have been better, right? And coincidentally, right, in my forward testing, they were worse, right? It was even negative, and there was a whole debate, oh, do I go in with, you know, that counter trend approach? Maybe I'm not as good. But then again, trending markets, counter trend moves are going to be very low probability. So talking of probability, like again, I don't really have a full structure on this, to be honest, but it is what it is. Obviously, you know, I grade my trades, and to be honest, I mean, again, 33 is not a big sample size. Now, we also think consolidation, some setups in terms of trend on the 60 might look better than they are because of the daily being, say, so consolidation. But if you actually look at it, a lot of my 5 out of 10s have won, right? The 7 out of 10, what's this? Give me a sec. 7 out of 10 lost. Yeah. And then the just started. Okay, so just stopped. You can actually see my little note. You know, it could have been a winner, but I didn't really see a structure looking left. And so you could say it was a avoidable loser. And I'll talk about the lessons made. I'm just going through the data because some of you might be interested in the data. You can see all the 6s and 10s. I wouldn't be surprised if these were negative, to be honest. Yeah, see a lot of losses. Yeah, a lot of losses right there. This period on the 6 out of 10 trade setups, and they were mainly what type of trades? Well, yeah, trend trades, right? So exactly. So think about it, they look decent on the 60. It will be like, oh, you know, decent, strong impulse. But because there's no real daily support, right? Support for the trade, not as in daily actual support. But you can see, look, against. Maybe this one, you know, was with it. You see against the bias, against it. So you know, it's no coincidence that there are losers. And the fives that I'm like, it's just a normal setup, is what it is. To be fair, have done quite well. Well, you see just all red, but you see that winning streak I went on, and the total of 255 pips. So realistically, my so-called worst setups have actually carried me through. So again, it's interesting to know, but it's only 33 trades, so I'm not too worried about that. And again, doesn't mean I'm making my decisions off of this, but it is what it is. So that's another aspect. But what was I going to say? So again, this is data I track, which obviously I'm not going to just show you the filters and whatnot. This is all the data and that I track from my trend trading, right? And then this is all the data I track from my counter trend. Now, does this influence my decisions now? Not right now. But for the future, obviously it can, right, used as a filter. If I get, you know, really increase my quantity, you can see I've got screenshots of the before and afters, basically. Just a little note on the 5 minute. I think one of the, let me see, main things I want to see, the counter trend, the more RSI is basically one of the lessons I've learned mostly over time. I've really stressed it, you could say, this you know, these, let's look at these, you could say the highest ones. Basically the whole RSI. Now obviously I've taught about it. Again, I'm doing this on the fly, so that's why I'm just stumbling and mumbling. But again, there's a lot of trades which part of me, you could say, so-called knows that are going to be, you know, losers, or they're not going to be as great setups. But or maybe, you know, they'll extend a little bit further and touch up and whatnot. There's so many little fine details that I've noticed. And again, you'll see them on the reviews that I do. I don't need to go over all the lessons like I've learned from, you know, this year, because there's too many. Again, that's why I've got the podcast. That's why I've got the YouTube videos out there. But it's a case of, you know, I've learned everything. You know, I've learned a lot, sorry, from every little trade here. So all of these 33 trades that I've taken, I've learned something. Now, you see win percentage is 48 and I'm losing 52% of my trades. One of them, right, like I showed you, is a 1 pip loser, because that's what I do for my break-even trades. So realistically it should be like 50-50 whatnot, or 49-49, and then like 2% scratch. That one, you know, it was a bit of a shame that it what's it called, you know, it turned out to be a winner as well afterwards, so it was a bit annoying. But risk management first. I actually want to open up this, and let me just pause the video real quick, and I'll open up a separate spreadsheet which isn't fully updated, but bear with me. Right, so this is the same spreadsheet, but as you see, there's only 31 trades, so I haven't updated the last 2 on this. But what it is the same thing, the exact same setups again. I basically copied and pasted it, but the only difference is I've actually trailed my positions, right? So you can see the minor difference in these, but let me see, 156, 318 pips, and then yeah, so I'm a bit higher on pips, almost 100 pips more. Again, the 2 trades that are previous didn't really count, and you see the equity curve is a little bit smoother. Again, you can see supposedly 16%. You know, obviously this doesn't take into account commissions and, you know, spreads and everything like that, which, you know, are quite heavy. And, you know, I will be using a broker that will reduce that, but you know, it's part of the game. Realistically, you have to outdo it. But as you see, you couldn't look at maximum drawdowns. We're looking at 2, 4, 5%, let's say, max. Again, so my drawdowns are lower. Let's see if we can compare that. So again, this is, you can see it's a little bit more volatile here. You see a bit more red, whereas there, because I'm trailing, and it's just something that I've noticed quite early on. And you know, it's always going to be a case where you miss out on winners. I haven't had that case yet. Actually, there was one towards the end. Where was it? There. So on target 2 or position 2. I'm not even too sure. Give me a sec. Yeah, well, there's 1 or 2 scenarios which, again, a winner would have turned into like a a smaller win or a break-even trade. But either way, again, this one I'm doing this live is just on the spot. But you know, I'm quite happy with the way this year's gone. You know, 33 opportunities in 6 months is nothing compared to the fact that, you know, um I trade 20 pairs a day. Realistically, I say trade, I look at 20 pairs a day. So we're looking at 5 trades a month, which is ridiculously low, right? But again, obviously, I'm going to do actually a video straight after this, basically, with the things I'm going to look for to do in 2020. But it's a case of very low opportunities. And you would have seen somewhere I would have mentioned that I've actually missed 75 trades setups. Now, not in the sense of I wasn't there to take my entries. I've missed them in a sense of, they just haven't met my entry rules. And, that's part of the reason why, again, I'm increasing my aggression and whatnot, things like that. I'm tracking all this data to help me with that. You can see, let's see the actual biases. Neutral with, well, what about the ones against? Did I filter something out? Well, there was a, no, a sec. This is, oh yeah, there we go. So I use this as a filter. Alright, so I just want to see when the daily is against, because again, right, all of these things do take into account. So when the daily is with us, surprisingly, we've actually done pretty shit, to be honest. Break even, pretty much. Again, neutral's probably the highest, because when the neutral, I think neutral's the highest because that means, again, the daily is not really active, and it's mainly the 60 that's the dominant time frame, but we see a lot of losses. Yeah, well, it's flat. So again, realistically, all of these things I'm tracking, they're not making a strong difference, aside from a few of these things here, to be honest. Against, let me see, against, if this is actually negative or positive, sorry, that'll be funny. Well, winners, winners, winners. Yeah, so, well, apparently the daily bias, if it's against me, then, well, right, let's go for it. So again, this is why I don't really base my stuff off the daily. It's all on one time frame bias, and I'm really going off the radar here. I don't know what I'm doing. This is a key little thing here. As you see from these are all trend trades. Obviously, like I said, the blue is trends. We got 6 trades, of which this is a certain little filter I'm looking at. I think it was 4 winners out of this. Yeah, 4 winners. So you can see just this little thing, right? It's a sign. It's only 6, right? So my sample size isn't too high, but with time that's going to develop and be used as a potential filter and whatnot. So again, that's something I can look into. Maybe I can, almost double down on this position size. Probably not double, but you get what I'm trying to say. I think I'll finish off by going over my average risk, which is around 15 pips. Let me see. Unhide. Alright, so here you go. So this is my average pips risk per trade, and as you see, obviously this takes into account every pair. Right, so it's 14. Ooh, you can, do I want you to see all my fancy things? I don't even know if there's any fancy, but I'm trying to. Right, so you see 14 pips here on average, right, per trade risk, and my average risk reward ratio. Again, you can either just do my average target or just average risk reward, doesn't really matter. Is 1.59 right there. Right, so you can see that with roughly 50% win rate, it is profitable. It's just a matter of, right, how can we improve? Obviously cutting down on commission, maybe be a bit more selective on certain trades, stops and targets. There's always room for improvement, whether you go more aggressive or more conservative with stops for a certain scenario. There's so much evolution going on, and that's what I love about this account. Like I said to you earlier, I've learned from every single one of these trades, and that's what I like. Obviously, these are different entries and whatnot, but yeah, I'm quite happy with the way the year ended. And I said, given the circumstances, obviously I had to delete, or you could say cancel, or whatever you want to say, to the other account, right? The ones with patterns and FTBs. First of all, it wasn't going well. Second, well, very not well, you can say. I was pissed off with it. It was just basically ruined my year. And it was a case of, look, I just don't want to trade it anymore. Not only is it losing, but I realized how much more I love this, how much more I believe in this account. And yeah, that's pretty much it. As you see, I'm dealing with quite low ATR pairs. Like I said, this is 20 minutes. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Again, I was a bit mumbling and whatnot, but again, I was thinking on the spot of what to show you, so that's just what I prefer to do things. And yeah, I'll do a little video next on what I'm looking to do in 2020. And yeah, that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed, and in a bit, boom.